Well, there is a whole lot that I could say about our guest speaker this morning. Margie moved up here from the Bay Area 25 years ago, and she joined what was then the Center for Creative Living, which ultimately evolved into Mountainside. And she became a practitioner in 2009, and she was the first practitioner that came up while I was, well, the Magnificent Seven were almost done by the time I got up here. And so I consider Margie to be the first one that was really all mine. And so, and what an inspiration she is. She walks her talk. She is living love. She has shown leadership in so many ways here. Right now, she is the Director of Youth and Family Ministries and coordinates the activities that we have for our kids and our teens. She has led our service effort at the Upper Room, which is on the 5th Sundays. We prepare the meal up there, and she has led that almost as long as I've been here, which is seven and a half years now. She has led book studies. She has taught classes. She has facilitated workshops. She presented the second Wednesday services back when we did those, which are now Sacred Wednesday. Please check that out, little plug there. But you know what? I don't want to take anything away. This is Margie's day. And I am so looking forward to hearing her message. Please welcome practitioner Margie Lukefeld.
Oh, thank you, Robin. All right. Okay. I hear I'm on. Wow. God morning, everybody. And God night. No, kidding. Oh, that was easy. Anyway, I'm going to start out with, first I want to honor and acknowledge all my loving friends and family here, along with my spiritual family, and my husband, my daughter and her family, my granddaughter, my great guest here from the Bay Area, Mary Bruns, who was my keynote speaker at my installment, and my friend, and she also baptized Genevieve, my granddaughter, and my my friend Pat from Philadelphia. She's my childhood friend, my soul partner, my sister, my love. I just and just all of you. I love you so much. My son-in-law and Cindy and Mick and just everybody here and Sue and Harry and all. And the Tibbles, and I could go on, but thank you so much for being here for my honor. I'm so grateful. So, with that being said, last night, I'm told I can't. Last night, I took, Pat and I went to Holy Trinity Mass for Palm Sunday. And because we were both raised Catholic, we received our communion and confirmation together and did all that. And so we got the palm. And according to the Christian tradition, the palm branches were waved in the triumphal entry of Jesus into Jerusalem. And it was adopted later that the Christian symbol is to represent the victory of the spirit over the flesh. Boy, that's a biggie. And traditionally, entering the city, he entered on a donkey, which symbolizes for peace. Unlike a beautiful horse that a king would ride in, that would represent the king was, saying he was rode in for there's going to be a war. And so that represented war was coming. And the donkey represented peace. So therefore, Jesus was known as the Prince of Peace, and and not a war-waging king, and so that was a very nice service last night, and it'd been a while since I got to experience that, and I enjoyed it, really did. And so today is my mother's anniversary of her transition today, April 13th. And in parochial school, we learned a prayer to say when we wanted something personal for God to answer. So on the day my mother was making her transition, which I had no idea, I was there with her. I was 12, and she made a comment. I was playing on the floor, and she made a comment that I'm gonna die, and you can have everything. And I tried. I really did. I didn't show any tears. I was very strong, and I was with her, holding her hand. But I would run to the bathroom and cry and please God. I begged. I pleaded. I promised the world, I would do this and do that. And so I went back with her, and then I'd go to the bathroom and I'd sob. And so we had this little prayer we would be saying, Angel of God. My angel, guardian angel, okay. Angel of God, my guardian dear, to whom his love commits me here. Forever this day be at my side, to light and to guard, to rule and to guide. And that prayer got me through my childhood, especially in the evening when I was afraid of the boogeyman. It did help somewhat. And then, so believing I'd be protected and alleviating all the fear, we were taught to pray to the Blessed Mary, because sometimes we were told God was too busy. And so we prayed to Jesus, we prayed to the angels, we prayed to Mary, we prayed to Joseph. We just had all this support system, and it was great. My favorite saint was Saint Anthony. And if you lost anything, no matter what it was, I always found it. And I would just say, that's okay, And I was told that he will lead you to it, and your prayers will be answered. And I did that, and I was really good. But during my mother's transition, I was doing this big, I was just praying so hard, and like I say, I was just promising God the world, and he already had the world. But anyway, in the book of Thich Nhat Hanh, he's a Buddhist priest, I believe, and he, in his book, The Energy of Prayer, he states, and this helped me when I took this book study, if a prayer does not have a result, it is because we don't love. Is it because we don't have love in our prayer? Well, absolutely not, of course. But often, the result is not one we were praying for. Often we believe we have prayed with our whole heart. We have prayed with every cell in our body, with every drop of blood in our veins. And still our prayer is not successful. And that baffled me because we would ask the priests and nuns, and it's a mystery, So we accepted that. And he goes on to say, if we pray for a loved one, and that person is in his or her last breath, how can anyone say we do not love? It's not so. We really do. Nevertheless, if we look deeply, we shall see that sometimes what we call love is not directed towards the other person. It is the love directed towards oneself, because we are afraid of being left alone, and we are afraid of losing someone. So my prayer was all about me, all about me, and rightfully so, and I don't feel guilty about that. But if our prayer doesn't have the energy of faith, compassion, and love, it is like trying to use our landline telephones when there's no electricity or wire or anything, and it's not going to work. The mere fact that we pray doesn't lead to a result. It's our faith, our feeling, our vibration, and just being at one with God, and just knowing it's going to be answered, and believe in that, and don't get the monkey mind in there. And Abraham Hicks states, want, when we want, as a yearning, a desire that is currently unfulfilled. When we use the word want, we mean it as an object of attention to which I want to focus, a desire that I give my undivided, undiluted, and not contradicted attention to. And that's easier said than done. So that energy that creates the world can flow through me towards that desire. We have to be in that desire, our prayer. We can pray all we want. We can chant, but to have that desire, that feeling, that love, because God is love. We all know that. So think of this. When you go into prayer, meditation, contemplation, you could be walking, you could be kneeling, you could be sitting, laying, whatever, wherever you are. Never mind what is. Let that all go. Imagine it the way you want to see it, the way it is to be, so that your vibration, your feelings match your desire in your prayer. Your feelings have to match your desire. It's very important, and then the faith. And when your vibration is a match to your desire, all things in your experience will gravitate to meet that match every time, without exception. Now, I'm going to relate an experience I went through with my husband. He was experiencing cancer bladder several years ago. And I had, and of course, worried and praying and everything. And I saw this guy at the hospital, and he had this big red shirt on. It said, Angels. And I said, oh, are you an angel? And he goes, I don't think so. And, so anyway, I realized about 30 minutes later, it was a sign for me to know that an angel was with my husband, and all would be better than expected. And it was. Metaphysically speaking, in true prayer, we take with us the words of truth, a statement of truth or an affirmation, and turn our attention within to the very center of our being, our sacred place, our holy place, where the Father dwells, where we go into meditation, and it's our sacred place where we cannot be harmed. We affirm these words of truth and meditate on them. Then we get very still and very quiet. We wait in silence to hear for God to make them real to us. Prayer can be defined in many ways. It can be said to be the taking hold of God's willingness. Jesus forbade all prayers of doubt, but said, all things whatsoever ye pray and ask for, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. And that's Mark 11:24. And your Father knoweth what things ye have need of before ye even ask. That's amazing. Jesus advised asking for what we want and being steadfast in our demands. Know what you want, stick to it, don't get the contradiction going, just focus. And I'm always doing my best to improve that part. People ignorant of the relation in which man stands to God wonder why we should ask. And even important, a Father who has provided all things for us. This is explained when we perceive that God is a great reservoir of mind that has to be tapped by man's mind through his thought or word poured into visibility. If the mind of man is clogged with a doubt, lethargy, or fear, we must, through his faithful knocking and asking, open the way. We should pray without ceasing. We should continue steadfastly in prayers. We shall get responses in like proportions to what we're praying for, called mental equivalent. We give our children what we consider good gifts from our limited and transitory store. But when the gifts of God are put into our mind, we have possessions that are eternal, that will go on producing for all time, for what we go through and we think and we pray. It just goes on. All these good thoughts and love and compassion, it just carries on. That's what we're here for, all of us. We're angels, all of us, each and every one of us. We're working together and bringing this planet with love and compassion and caring for each other. And that's how I feel, and I just know it. I feel it in the air. I feel the energy of a big shift, a big change, and we're just more loving. I went to New York. People were so friendly. Philadelphia, and here, she's amazed how everybody's so friendly. Yeah, we're just like mini gods, just having a good time, you know. So I have an Aunt Catherine that passed away years ago, and I lived with her in San Francisco. I was a senior in high school. And she knew my favorite saint was St. Anthony. And she was always professing to be an atheist. And if there's a God, it's a woman. Okay. And so she knows about the St. Anthony. She says, hey, I have a little prayer I need. Would you mind putting this in your prayers? And sometimes she told me, sometimes she didn't, because sometimes it was personal. So I said, sure, and I remembered her every night in my prayers. So, I don't know, some time passed, I have no idea how long. She says, when I ask you to pray for something for me, I always get my needs met. And when I don't ask you, I don't get my needs met. Well, let me tell you, that scared me. It did. I didn't pray for a long time. Wait a minute. And, but, I believe that, all the prayers, like I say, I believe, I'd say, dear God, I know you know what you want, and I leave it in your hands. I'm not going to worry about it, and I knew it'd be answered. No matter, sometimes I'm glad I didn't know what it was. Let's see. So I believe, I believe, and I know we all believe this, that we're all offsprings of God, well provided for, and worthy of all God's that has to offer us, all His gifts. And they're right there. And we just have to say yes to them. And this power, the divine God presence, flows freely through all of us, every one of us. And we need not fear it, for it's a natural law of the universe. It's a natural law, like gravity. That's a natural law, and this is a natural law. Therefore, I have come to observe my thoughts and turning the negative ones into affirmations. I have affirmations all over my house. Everybody that knows me, they're here. And it reminds me of who I am and what I am, and I'm worthy, and I'm a good person, and I'm deserving, and I'm a child of God. Why not? We're all worthy, And the Metaphysical Dictionary states, prayer is communion between man and God. And in the Catholic faith, we would receive communion, and that was like how we were at one with God. And I feel in communion all the time. And Jesus advised asking for what we want, and like I said before, be steadfast in our demands. And I think I already read that. And but I like this one. Remember in the Bible we were taught, knock on the door will be open, and ask and you shall receive. And when I was a kid, I'd say, knock on what door? And ask what? Who do you ask? But now I understand. And the door is open. She goes like that with Viviana. Ernest Holmes, Can We Talk to God? And from his book. Prayer leads one to a place of mental acceptance, but prayer without faith, ineffectual. Faith elevates the prayer to conviction and acceptance. Where does God come in? God already is in and does not have to come from anywhere or go anywhere or be anywhere. God is. God is the entire process, both in our thoughts as individuals and in the universal, answering our individual thought. Love. And God is love. We know that. Love is the self-givingness of the Spirit through the Spirit through the desire of life to express itself in terms of creation. And that's what we are, love. We're experiencing, we want to create more compassion and more love and make the world a better place, like Robin says. Emerson tells us that love is a sentiment for God. We are also told in the New Testament that he that loveth not knoweth not God. Got no work. For God is love. Love is free from condemnation, even as it is free from fear. Love is a cosmic force whose sweep is irresistible. Fear. Perfect love casteth out fear. Fear is not a flock. Fear not, little flock. It is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. And boy, you ask for it. Be careful what you ask for. You know. And fear is an antithesis of faith. It is a negation of confidence. Like faith, fear may be conscious or subjective. And if it is to be eliminated, it must be removed both consciously and subjectively, completely. Eckhart Tolle reminds us that when you lose touch with inner stillness, you lose touch with yourself. When you lose touch with yourself, you lose touch you lose yourself in the world. Your innermost sense of self, of who you are, is inseparable from stillness. This is the I am that is deeper than the name and form. I am that I am. Okay. I have some time left. But I'd like to share with you that another illness, the illness that my husband went through with the bladder cancer, I would go in the procedure room with him. I didn't see anything was going on. There was a screen there, and I didn't know how to decipher it. But he went back for a few treatments and everything. And I was reading the book, Autobiography of a Yogi, and how remarkable this man was, how spiritual. And anyway, so I'm sitting there reading, and I decided to do an affirmation, a prayer affirming my husband's wellness. And so I'm sitting there and I'm doing this prayer I learned here, affirmation prayer, and I felt this liquid, iridescent crystal waterfall just flow over me. And I knew he was good. I knew it. I just felt it. And what drew my attention to the present, to after the prayer, I heard my husband say, "Oh, it's back, isn't it? It's back." And I looked over to what he was looking at, and he was looking on the screen, and so the doctor looks up and he looks at this. He goes, "What?" And he goes, "It's back, isn't it? The cancer didn't go away." And he goes, "You have a perfectly healthy bladder, young man." And I of course, I didn't jump up and do a routine, but I just, because I wanted to, but I just sat there and I went, yes, 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 yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And and that happens so much in my life with prayers, and sometimes it doesn't because I'm not like centered maybe, or what these wonderful authors and speakers remind us to be centered and just be full of compassion and love. And I just look out here and have all this love for you guys, and brought me to this center 25 years ago. And this philosophy of Ernest Holmes has enhanced my Catholic faith to understand why I was here, and where I'm going, and what I'm doing, and I pray all the time, pray. I thought, pray without ceasing. And I used to watch The Middle East people get down on their knees 5 times a day. I went, whoa, good for you, you know. And then I got to thinking, we prayed 5 or 6 times a day, morning prayers, meals, before meals, after meals, uh, you name it. We went to bed. We always praying. And I thought, well, yeah, we did that, and I'm still doing it. And if I get that, sometimes I get that monkey mind going, like getting up here and speaking, and you know, and I think, oh my gosh, and then I quiet down, and I like let the fear go, because fear just grabs you, and you get into it, and it just really works your mind, and then you don't want to do anything, you don't want to go anywhere, and I see that a lot out there. I see a lot of fear today, you know, and I hear sirens, not so much here, thank God, but I hear sirens, and I always say a prayer for them, and this woman, she experienced she was in traffic, and the traffic was at a dead still. And she's sitting there, and she goes, oh my gosh, it must be really horrible accident. And so she sent out a prayer to the car. She couldn't see it, but she sent out a prayer to the people concerned in the accident. And she prayed for them. And the person in the car lived, and she was able to relate this later. But she said when she was out of her body, she was seeing everything in front of her, the accident, but she's seen this bolt of gold light come from a car to her car. And she went, wow. And she looked at the car. She goes, oh my God, there's so much love coming from this car that she remembered. She said, God, if I live, I'm going to remember that license plate. And she did. And a year later, when she was well or more, she went and she found that lady, and she said, you won't know this, but you saved my life. You were praying for me, and I had an accident years ago, and you were praying for me, and with love and sending me all these blessings. And the woman was like, really? You know? So that's how powerful prayers are. And so I really recommend them. You know? I do. I really do. They're my favorite. And and like Robin says, we have a prayer chest over there, and I put some prayers in there this morning. And we have a phone conference, and we do our prayers every Tuesday or Wednesday morning over all the prayers in the prayer box, and then each other, you know. And this is very loving community. So I just wish the people from out of town lived here and be here too, and everything. But thank you so much for being here, each and every one. I almost started crying in the seat, but you know, and I thought maybe I should have tissues up there, but I don't want to be, you know, boo-hooing and messing my makeup up. I'm sorry. You know, but thank you very much. I could stay up here forever and just talk about prayer, but you know, you're all angels. You know what to do. You know, we're all working here together to make the world a better place, and I know it will be. It is already to me. Thank you so much. Namaste. God bless you.